Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and hi everybody. So today we from group 15 we present to you on the topic of career challenges 2020. So this group is consists of 5 students, which is Rashida binti Bahrim, Ahmad Haziq bin Ramli, Nur Fatim binti Masri, Nur Syakira binti Abdul Hamid, and Siti Nur Najibah binti Makno. So let's start this presentation now.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syakira binti Abdul Hamid. As for the introduction, according to Muhammad Fazil 2002, career is a profession that is one of the way of earning a living that refers to the activities and roles played in work as well as work related to a lifelong task. While challenges is defined as the need for stimulating work that tests individuals physically or mentally. Individuals usually involved in challenging tasks in the workplace, such as when solving problems, running new projects, or making difficult decisions. Okay, job challenges require people to continue to learn and grow. Today, overly competitiveness and relatively limited job opportunities make it difficult for graduates who have just graduated. According Muhammad Hazrul Ismail 2012, among the critical factors that can influence job opportunities include the level of quality of education, the willingness of employers to hire local graduates, the growth and development of the Malaysian economy, and the quality of graduates themselves. This is not denying that excellent academic achievement will motivate a graduate to choose the type of job that suits their intellectual level. However, the main major desire by employers today is not only based by high grades, but they are also more likely to access the level of self-improvement that these graduates have. For example, communication skills are an important aspect in highlighting one's personal abilities because not everyone was born with this skill. Besides, the workers have been replaced by equipment and machines that require minimum maintenance costs is one of the main reasons the number of employees is reduced. As a result, the unemployment of graduates will continue to increase and cause their employment options to be unmatched by their qualifications. Next, as for the careers figures 2020, firstly, Puan Nurhaini binti Abu Bakar, she was recipient of the National Teacher Figure Award 2020. She has been involved as a paper presenter, head of delegation, facilitator, and has won many awards, such as Selangor State Teacher Figure in 2019 and Trigger Icon Innovative System PAK 21 in 2019. Secondly, Haji Aminuddin bin Adam. He was recipient of the National Education Leadership Figure Award 2020. He has represented the Ministry of Education to various conferences, contributed to the writing of the results of the study, and has won many awards, such as Johan Seti Mahkota from Sri Paduka Yang di-Pertuan Agong in 2015. He also sees the task of leadership in the education sector in the 21st century as more challenging because it needs to provide a conducive environment at the school level to produce quality human capital. And thirdly, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin. He was recipient of the Workers' Day Figure Award 2020. He is the Chief Statistician of the Department of Statistics Malaysia. He has simplified the statistical data to enable all people to understand it more easily. Each statistical data release becomes a reference center in the compilation of official statistics and receive recognition from domestic and foreign agencies. Under his leadership, the Department of Statistics Malaysia has been honoured with the recognition of the National Statistics Day celebration on 20 October every year starting in 2017. He organized the International Statistics Conference last year, which was attended by more than 1,000 data scientists from various countries at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre. He also held QPACs to share statistical data involving the interests of the pupil and civil servants. That's all from me. Thank you. Next, Nurul Fatin will continue the history of career development.
Okay, my name is Nur Fatim Tuhma Asri. So right now I will proceed to the history of career development. Okay, as we can see, Morrigan and Hall has provided a helpful context by observing that while people have worked for millennia, the word career was not used prior to the 19th century, and it did not come into common usage until the 20th century. Okay, an early definition endeavored to combine two perspectives, which is individual perspective and organizational productivity perspective. As from individual perspective, means they look from the personal interest and personal ability. And then from organizational productivity perspective, means concentrating on the needs of the organization and how the employee fulfill the needs of the organization. Okay, the history of working started even in the time of pre-industrial trends, where we can see work is as a form of human expression, and at an ancient history, people work as hunters and gatherers, so they work as a mean of survival. Okay, then prior to the industrial revolution, the number of possible occupation was growing but limited to agriculture, semi-skilled work such as carpentry, masonry, small businesses such as shopkeeper, and a small number of professions such as preacher and law. Okay, next is in the time of industrial trends. Okay, the structure of working began to change dramatically due to the advent of industrial revolution. Okay, one of the most important factors that contribute to the transformation of working was the growing need for more skilled individuals to work in the complex factories that had been built. So, as industrialization become more pervasive, the number and diversity of occupational options also growing up. And at the same time, the educational options also increasing, that lead to a sense of confusion among adolescents and adults about their optimal vocational direction. So, because of that, a group of social reformers and educators began to develop various systems to help young people to choose their works and career. So, one of these individuals is Frank Parson. Frank Parson has been called as the father of vocational guidance, as he is the founder of vocational psychology. So he was interested in helping individuals to find the work they love due to the development career. So, Parsons' pioneering work in assisting people with their career decision making gave rise to the career theory, such as John Holland theory, Crumbolt's learning theory, Heppenstone theory, and so forth. So that's it for the history of career development.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Azim Ramli. Okay, for my part, I will explain about a career concept. So, what is the career concept? A career concept is a profession or job chosen as a way to earn a living. It is a definition by Kamus Dewan 2000. So, by the definition, we know a career is something that us human do as a sources to get money to survive in our living. A career may be a job or something that human like us do to earn money to survive in the world. So there are four elements that make a career is things that have a definition in itself. For example, career has four elements, which is responsibility, use of energy, experience to produce something, and accepted by society. So far, by the four elements, we know that a career is something that human do as a responsibility in their life. And second, it use the energy of the human or one being to work and to give it or contributing his energy to earn in his living. And third, experience to produce something. In work, we experience the work and we use the all of our knowledge to produce something. The result of our work has their own value, and it's make different. It's make the profession. Each profession has a difference of producing something. And lastly, accepted by society. A career is something that we do which is accepted by society. Okay, insyaAllah, for the next slide, I will explain in Bahasa Melayu to make the understanding more easy. Okay, untuk perkembangan kerjaya, kita ceritakan secara ringkas, terdapat 3 aliran utama dalam perkembangan kerjaya, iaitu teori pemilihan kerjaya, teori pendekatan struktur, yang kedua, teori perkembangan kerjaya, teori pendekatan proses, yang ketiga, teori membuat keputusan kerjaya. Okay, dalam teori pemilihan kerjaya ini, sebagai contohnya teori Holland yang membincangkan tentang asas dan prinsip dalam pemilihan sesebuah kerjaya. Okay, yang kedua, teori perkembangan kerjaya, teori pendekatan proses. Sebagai contoh, teori Ginsberg dan teori perkembangan kerjaya super. Dalam teori tersebut membincangkan bagaimana untuk sesebuah perkembangan kerjaya itu berlaku. Okay, yang terakhir, teori membuat keputusan kerjaya. Sebagai contoh, teori Crumbbox. Teori Crumbbox membincangkan tentang bagaimana untuk seseorang itu membuat keputusan dalam pemilihan sesebuah kerjaya. Okay, we'll continue in the aspect of career development. In recent time, there are many individuals or professions that help our generation at all stage of age in choosing their career path. For example, school counselors, career counselors, psychological counselors, rehabilitation counselors, counseling psychologists, social workers, and teachers. All of these professions will help our generation, no matter which age of the person is in, the individual in this profession will help the person to choosing the right career that suit him based on his interests and his environment. And lastly, as a facilitator in career development covering all age, that's covering the basic principles that be applied by our counselor as a profession. They have to be act as a facilitator in a career development in our community. Okay, next we will talk about career challenge in 2020. Okay, as our country or our world is changing towards a better improvement in terms of technology, lifestyle, and the improvement of convenient to make people have a more better in terms of living and have a good lifestyle. So in the current changing of the world, it also make an impact to our world of career. In our world now, we can see there are so much changing in the industrial. So we'll discuss about what are the example of the challenge that have encountered to the generation in their effort to survive in their career. Okay, we'll go to the first challenge that are faced by our generation in entering the era of 2020 and above. Firstly, the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So, basically, what is the beginning of the Industrial Revolution? The Industrial Revolution basically is the process of improvement or upgrading of the manufacturing. So basically, in the history of this world, there have been the first Industrial Revolution, Industrial Revolution 2.0, Industrial Revolution 3.0, and lastly, the era that we already in it is Industrial Revolution 4.0. Basically, Industrial Revolution 4.0, it is mainly story that a robotic system created by capitalists. So in our era, we have surrounded by a robotic system that its function is to make the process or to make the work more easier than what can be doing by a human or manpower. So the purpose of creating the robotic system is to cut the cost and to make the process more efficient and to make the work become more faster. As we can see, there are many examples of robotic system in our surrounding. For example, uh, in back then, if we go to the cinema, we want to buy a ticket, cinema ticket, we have to deal with a person in the counter. And but now, if we want to watch a movie in the cinema, we go to the cinema and we look at the surrounding. It's surrounded by a machine, so we have to buy the ticket by ourselves by using this machine. So that is the easiest example that we can see. Another example is the worker at a toll. Kalau dulu kita boleh tengok ada pekerja yang bekerja di tol dan akan melayan permasalahan yang dihadapi oleh pengguna jalan raya. Tapi sekarang para pekerja di tol telah dihadkan dan banyak menggunakan kemudahan seperti Touch and Go, RFID dan sebagainya. In this Industrial Revolution 4.0, 50% of jobs or areas of work affected by the function and the role of the division have been taken over by the robotic system. So basically, this is the biggest challenge in our era, which is Industrial Revolution 4.0, because our people lost their job because of maybe the industrial doesn't need the manpower anymore, or maybe the industrial want to cut the cost by removing people or removing the worker and replacing it by the machine. So basically, that is the biggest challenge, the first biggest challenge in the world of career right now. Okay, for the second challenge is the ability to communicate well. This skill has been demanded by the employers in terms of finding their workers to work for their company. The ability to communicate well in terms of mastering at least 2 languages other than mother tongue. We usually see in our industry, the employers seek the worker that are able to speak in English and Mandarin. Why they search for the workers that are able to speak more than one language? It is because it will be easy for them to deal with their client, and it will be easy for the company to discuss with the client that come from various of ethnics. And the ability to speak in Mandarin and English allow an individual to more easily place them himself in the work field. So they have more high demanding from the workers, from the employers, sorry. They have more value, they have more value market to place themselves in the work field compared to the worker or fresh graduates that are not able to speak for more or 2 language or more. Okay, lastly, the variety of educational institution. As we can see right now, there are too many educational institution consists from public educational institution and private educational institution. So the total of student is higher than the place or the work that have been provided by the company or organization. So there are more supply than the demand in the market. So if this problem become more serious day by day, it will make a limited competition and a job market. Our job market is become more limited, but the supply or the total of the students consists from the public and private educational institution become higher day by day. So it is become the challenge for all the graduates to compete in order to get a work and earn for their living.
Okay, my name is Siti Nur Najibah binti Maknor. I will continue about examples of career challenge application in counselor careers. Before that, let me tell you what definition of counseling and definition of counselor. Definition of counseling, according Aziz, counseling is the process of a counselor helping individuals by providing guidance and advice to make their own choice or decision to achieve a goal. While definition of counselor, a counselor is defined as a person who is qualified to be a mentor and advisor to others who are having problems or someone who is able to provide counseling service. Issue in counselor career has two, namely ethical issue and cross-cultural issues. Ethical issues are divided into two, namely transference and counter-transference and personal conflict. Transference is a situation in which the client places the feelings they have experienced on someone significant in their life to the counselor. These feelings can be affectionate, angry, or hateful, which creates unrealistic relationships in counseling. For example, in a counseling session, the client considers the counselor as his or her mother. Counter-transference is the opposite situation where counselors experience emotional reactions to their clients. For example, a counselor considers his or her client as his or her child. Then, personal conflict. As a human being, counselors certainly cannot run away from personal issues or problems in their lives. In fact, some of these problems have not yet been resolved by the counselor. Therefore, to identify this issue, a counselor should always be clear and have self-awareness so as not to affect their ability to conduct counseling sessions. Cross-cultural issues are also divided into two, namely communication problems and problems of religious belief. First, communication problems. Communication problems will occur in cross-cultural counseling sessions. Therefore, a counselor needs to ensure that he or she is ready to receive the client and ready with spoken communication in facilitating the counseling process itself. For example, in Malaysia, there are various dialects and standard language that exist even though the country has its own national language so that it can facilitate the process of counseling sessions. Second, problems of religious belief. Religious factors also needs to be emphasized in the counselor research to understand the sensitivity and counselors' needs to understand the constitutions. Based on these constitutions, counselors need to understand the values and beliefs of a religion to ensure that counselors do not place value on clients.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rashida. Okay, I will continue about career issue 2020. Okay, actually I have many issue, but our group will focus only 4 issue, which is first is the increase of unemployment, and then the second is work from home, and then the third is the existence of a new business, and then fourth is the double in delivery when the movement control order exists, buying and selling using the internet. Okay. So this issue is very critical issue, which is unemployment. In Malaysia, when the first 2 weeks, when the movement control order, which is PKP, is started because there are employers who have to lay off workers due to the not being able to pay workers salary and on others matter. Okay, unemployment rate for 2020 in April increased by 1,068 and 800 increased just like in 1 month that in Malaysia's statistical data. Okay, so for the second is almost all large companies around the world have implemented long distance works system or work from home. Okay, among the example of company in Malaysia that implement work from home is PNB, which is stand for Perbadanan Nasional Berhad. which makes working from home as a permanent choice for employees, said Jalil Rashid in Berita Harian newspaper 10 May 2020. Okay, so for number 3 is there are various types of job that are lacking in human touch, and new skill arise such as using the internet method. For example, there are new initiative in providing with goods needs that is with virtual shopping, and the most pleasant of those need will continue to be sent home in goods. Okay, the wet is ready to be cooked and washed, like SZ Mart and then Era Delivery Mart is on your Facebook, and is no exception for big companies like Tesco and My Day and Supermarket that have a platform to buy groceries using online. Okay, so for number 4 is in the season ahead of Raya, Pos Laju has received up to 7,700 packages per day, and this number has exceeded Pos Laju average capacity in 350,000 packages a day. Okay, this show that the workers involved in the delivery of goods such as Pos Laju, DHL and JNT and others get twice the work compared to normal days during the festive season.
To conclude, as we can see here, there will be more challenges that need to be faced by students who will be working and those who have been work nowadays. So therefore, as students, we need to prepare ourselves for the world of working by adding knowledge and important skills that are relevant to the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. As we can see in the history, the early time of Industrial Revolution also, they need people who are skilled, who have skill to work. So in nowadays, we can see that skills are very important, so that as a student we must be wise to seize the opportunities or grab the opportunities that are available to strengthen our skills to face the challenges in our future career.